Welcome to CertBlaster. Today we're going to be talking about one of the most common questions that we get at the CertBlaster help desk. That question is, what are the differences between CompTIA A+ 220-1101 objectives and the A+ 220-1201? This question is a very important one to ask as you prepare yourself for certification. With each official exam release, CompTIA releases their objective list for each certification exam they offer. This list of both main objectives and sub-objectives allows students to understand what topics are being covered on that particular exam. These objectives are the outlines of the knowledge and skills that are covered in the certification exam. They serve as the very structure for the entire certification exam. The main objectives are the overall topics or domains that make up the specific exam. These cover the key areas of expertise that are expected for a professional to have in the field. The sub-objectives are the specific, detailed topics or areas of knowledge that fall under each main objective. They list the specific tools, tech, skills, and concepts that you will need to be familiar with to pass the certification exam. At CertBlaster, we author each question to fit with each main and sub-objective that you will find on the official exams. Here are a few examples of how we translate a sub-objective into a practice question on CertBlaster. This is one of our interactive questions that can be found in Drill 1 of our A+ 220-1101 practice exams. As you can see at the top, we reference both the main objective, mobile devices, and underneath we see the sub-objective, 1.4, give a scenario, configure basic mobile device network connectivity and application support. In the question text, we are told to connect a new Bluetooth Spark 40 audio device to our PC. To do this, we need to search for the device in the Bluetooth and other devices settings. If we quickly look at the sub-objective in the CompTIA objectives list, we can see in the specified details for sub-objective 1.4 that a specific topic of discussion is about Bluetooth devices, both enabling pairing and finding a device for the pair. This is a wonderful example of a possible real-world scenario that fits into the exact topic for that section of the certification exam. For our next example, we're going to be looking at a question designed for Domain 3.0 hardware, Subobjective 3.1, explain basic cable types and their connectors, features, and purposes. In the question, we are told that we need to run a twisted pair Ethernet cable. We are told that we should use RJ45 connectors and support speeds up to 10 GB per second over a distance of 95 meters. Since we aren't really sure of the answer, we can click on the Answer button on the navigation bar. Once the pop-up appears, we not only see that the correct answer is CAT6A, but directly underneath we see an explanation of why this network cable is the best choice for this scenario. Looking back at the objectives list from earlier, we see that under the referenced sub-objective that part of the topics covered under Subobjective 3.1 are the CAT6A network cable, as well as the RJ45 connector type. Since the explanation also goes into detail on the specifications of the CAT6A cable, it helps us to understand its features along with a few of the other network cables. For our last example, we hop on over to Domain 5.0 Hardware Network Troubleshooting, Subobjective 5.2. Given a scenario, troubleshoot problems related to motherboards, RAM, CPU, and power. In the question text, we are informed that we have tested the building's backup generators and we notice that a PC is not booting. We are then informed that once the PC is powered on, there is no output display, no post-beep codes, and after 15 seconds the system's fans begin to run louder and faster. When we look at the referenced sub-objective in the objectives list, we see that this topic goes into detail about the common symptoms you will see that are related to issues with motherboards, RAM, CPU, and power that were referenced in the question text. As technology continues to progress, the CompTIA certification exams want to make sure that you are prepared to take them on. That is why with every release, there are sub-changes to help keep up with the ever-changing world of technology. Some releases have way more drastic changes than others, so that is why the information is extremely important. So now, the moment you've all been waiting for. Here is a list of all the objective changes between the A+ 220-1101 objectives and the newly released A+ 220-1201. At the top of all of the CompTIA official objectives lists, they will always reveal how the certification exam is weighted by each domain. This helps you to know which areas contain the bulk of the information that you will be tested on in the exam. However, please bear in mind that no two certification exam experiences will ever be the same with CompTIA's extensive question count. So be sure to study each domain so that you are prepared for the exam. For this exam, there wasn't really too much difference in regards to the weights. Domains 3.0 and 4.0 had no change at all. There was some minor losses in Domain 1.0, from 15% down to 13%, and Domain 5.0, which had the lowest drop of just 1%. The main notable difference here is that networking went up by 3%. Now, where things may get interesting are actually the changes to the subobjectives themselves. Sometimes nothing changes, sometimes more topics are added, moved to a new domain or subobjective, or removed entirely. In Domain 1.0, the amount of subobjectives changed from 4 to 3. This was mainly due to subobjective 1.2 moving to Domain 3.0. We also see change in focus for the first domain. In 1101, there's a specific topic on installing and configuring laptop hardware. While this topic is still discussed, the objective seems to focus on mobile devices as a whole. Domain 2.0 essentially stayed the same. The only differences are some cosmetic changes with the names of the subobjectives and the order that the subobjectives are in. Domain 3.0 is pretty much the same. Some cosmetic changes with the names of the subobjectives and the order that the subobjectives are in. The main change is the addition of the subobjective discussing display components that was originally in Domain 1.0. Domain 4.0 generally stayed the same with the order of the subobjectives changing. However, it is worth noting that the topics of cloud models and cloud characteristics moved to subobjective 4.2, summarize cloud computing concepts. Since the old 4.2 became 4.1, explain virtualization, it stands to reason that desktop virtualization would be placed in this subobjective. Lastly, the largest change with Domain 5.0 was that an objective was completely removed. 1101 5.1 mainly discussed the methods to troubleshooting in general. The reason this was removed is actually explained in the A+ 220-1201 exam objectives document. Essentially, while subject matter experts deem the troubleshooting methodology practical, it is also seen as competency standard in the job role. So while CompTIA does not have this topic as an official objective or even part of the exam, CompTIA added a special section of the document to let you know that this is important information to know, especially to anyone that will be applying for their first IT job. Thank you very much for your interest in our CertBlaster for A+ 220-1201 exam simulator. Look for its upcoming release on the website soon. We wish you a smooth test prep and the best of luck on exam day.